Namaskar, I am Advocate B.R. Bornak. The topic of my today's lecture is the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016 means the RERA, ज्यालाच आपण मराठी किंवा हिंदीमध्ये असंही म्हणू शकतो की स्थावर संपदा विनियमन व विकास अधिनियम 2016. Further, under the RERA Act 2016, there is a provision of the Real Estate Appellate Tribunal. The provision is under section 43 for establishment of Real Estate Appellate Tribunal. See, this Real Estate Appellate Tribunal is established to deal with the appeals preferred or filed by the appellants against any direction or decision or order of the authority, that is Real Estate Regulatory Authority, or the adjudicating officer. Now there is one restriction: if a promoter files an appeal before the Real Estate Appellate Tribunal. Where a promoter files an appeal before the Real Estate Appellate Tribunal, then at least 30% or higher percentage of the penalty as mentioned by the tribunal is required to be deposited by that promoter before the said appeal is heard. See, this restriction means this condition is there if the promoter files an appeal before the tribunal, Real Estate Appellate Tribunal, that he must deposit at least 30% or higher percentage of the penalty as determined by the tribunal before the said appeal is heard. After depositing this amount only, the appeal filed by the promoter will be heard. There is no such condition for appeals to be filed by the allottees or real estate agents. This condition is for the appeals filed by the promoter only. Further, there is section 44 which provides for application for settlement of disputes and appeals to appellate tribunal. Now this provision is for filing appeal before the appellate tribunal. Here, who can file the appeal before the appellate tribunal? The government or the competent authority or any other person aggrieved, that can be promoter, allottee or real estate agent. Means here the government also can file appeal, competent authority and any other person aggrieved by any direction or order or decision of the authority or adjudicating officer may prefer an appeal to the appellate tribunal. Means these are the persons or entities or authorities who can file, who can prefer an appeal before the appellate tribunal against any direction, order or decision of the RERA authority or the adjudicating officer. See, appeal is required to be filed within 60 days from the date of receipt of copy of the direction or order or decision of the authority or the adjudicating officer against which the appeal is to be filed. And this means appeal is to be required to be filed within 60 days of the date of receipt of copy of the order, direction or the decision. And along with this appeal, the required fees, that is fees of rupees 5,000 is also required to be paid through NEFT, RTGS or any other digital transaction mode. Means the filing fees, the fees for filing appeal, that is rupees 5,000. Okay. See, appeal can be entertained after the expiry of 60 days on sufficient cause. If the appellant proves before the appellate tribunal the reasonable grounds for the delay in filing the appeal, then the delay period can be excused or can be condoned by the tribunal and the appeal can be entertained even after the expiry of 60 days on sufficient causes. So during the hearing of the appeal, this appellate tribunal can give order or interim order after giving the parties an opportunity of being heard. Means the opportunity of being heard that is given to all the concerned parties, and order or interim order that can be passed by the appellate tribunal. Copy of order is issued to the parties concerned and to the authority or the adjudicating officer. Means the concerned parties, they are issued copy of the authority. Besides that, the copy of authority, a copy of the order, copy of the order that is to be issued to the concerned parties as well as to the authority, that is RERA authority, or to the adjudicating officer. Means against whose order the appeal has been preferred. As far as possible, the appeal is required to be disposed of within 60 days by the appellate tribunal. The appeal is required to be disposed within 60 days, and if could not be disposed within 60 days, then the reasons are required to be recorded in writing why the appeal could not be disposed of within 60 days. Further, for examining the legality or propriety or correctness of any order or decision of the authority or adjudicating officer, the appellate tribunal has power to call for records before the authority or the adjudicating officer. Means the appellate tribunal can call for records, original records, which is with the authority or the adjudicating officer, as the case may be, in connection with that case against which the appeal has been preferred. Further, under section 45, there is a provision of composition of appellate tribunal. In appellate tribunal, there is a chairperson and not less than 2 whole-time members. Chairperson plus not less than 2 whole-time members means on the same line as the authority, the regulatory authority. Here also there is a chairperson and not less than 2 whole-time members, 1 judicial member, other technical or administrative member. Means one member that is judicial and another member that is a technical or administrative member, and they are to be appointed by the state government. Chairperson and the members, they are to be appointed by the state government. Further, under section 46, qualifications for appointment of chairperson and members of this appellate tribunal. About chairperson, means the person who is or has been a judge of a high court, and for judicial members, who has held a office, judicial office, in the territory of India for at least 15 years, or has been a member of the Indian legal service and has held the post of additional secretary of that service or any equivalent post, or has been an advocate for at least 20 years with the experience in dealing with real estate matters. And for technical or administrative member, he must be well versed in the field of urban development, housing, real estate development, infrastructure, economics, planning, law, commerce, accountancy, industry, management, public affairs or administration, and possesses experience of at least 20 years in the field, or who has held the post in the central government or state government equivalent to the post of additional secretary to the government of India, or an equivalent post in the central government or an equivalent post in the state government. Okay, so these are the criteria of qualifications, experience, etc. For chairman and other members of the tribunal. Further, the chairperson is appointed by the government in consultation with the Chief Justice of High Court or his nominee. Means for appointment of chairperson, the government is required to consult with the Chief Justice of the High Court or his nominee. Further, the judicial members and technical or administrative members are appointed by the government on the recommendations of a selection committee consisting of the Chief Justice of the High Court or his nominee, the Secretary of the Department handling housing, and the Law Secretary, and in such manner as may be prescribed. So for the appointment of chairperson, the government is required to consult with the Chief Justice of the High Court or his nominee. And for appointment of judicial members and technical or administrative members, there is a committee, means the selection committee appointed by the government, and on the basis of recommendations of that selection committee, the government makes appointment of judicial members and technical or administrative members on the appellate tribunal. Further, section 47 provides for term of office of chairperson and members. The same provisions are that the chairperson or member, that their total term is not exceeding 5 years and not eligible for reappointment. Means they can be appointed for 5 years and they are not eligible to be reappointed. A chairman who is a judge of High Court shall not hold office after age of 67 years. That is, age restriction is also there. Means whichever happens earlier, either 5 years or 67 years, whichever happens earlier, and not eligible for reappointment. And for judicial or technical or administrative members, they shall hold office after they shall not hold office after the age of 65 years. Means up to 65 years only they can hold office, or for the period of 5 years, whichever happens earlier, and they are also not eligible for reappointment. So before appointing chairperson or the members on the appellate tribunal, government has to satisfy that the person does not have any financial or other interest in this field, in the field of real estate sector. That is also to be taken into consideration before appointment of the chairperson or the members on the appellate tribunal. Further, there is a provision under section 48, that is salary and allowances payable to chairperson and members. These are formal provisions. Further, section 49 provides for removal of chairperson and members from office in certain circumstances. That is, he becomes insolvent, or if he is involved in malpractices, etc., means wrong practices like that. Means if it is proved, then he can be removed. Further, section 50 provides for restrictions on chairperson or judicial member or technical or administrative member on employment after cessation of office. They cannot take employment from any promoter. Section 51 provides for officers and other employees of appellate tribunal. Provisions pertaining to that there are there. Then section 52 provides for vacancies to be filled in. Then section 53 provides for powers of tribunal. The tribunal is appellate tribunal, that is why it has appellate powers, power to regulation, own procedure also it has. Means for to conduct means hearings, etc. The procedure regulations can be decided by the appellate tribunal on its own. Further, section 54 provides for administrative powers of chairperson of appellate tribunal. He has administrative powers. Then section 55 provides for vacancies, etc., not to invalidate proceeding of appellate tribunal. Due to some vacancy, the proceeding cannot be treated as invalidated. It will be treated as proper good. Then section 56 provides for right to legal representation. Section 57 provides for orders passed by the appellate tribunal to be executable as a decree. Means order of the tribunal that is to be executed as a decree of any court. As in the form the decree is executed in that form only, the order passed in appeal by the appellate tribunal, that will be executed. Now, section 58 that provides for appeal to High Court. If any appellant who has filed appeal or any party to the appeal before the appellate tribunal is not satisfied with the order of the appellate tribunal, then that party can file further appeal, that is second appeal, that is to be filed in the High Court. That appeal against any decision or order of the appellate tribunal that can be filed to the High Court within 60 days from the date of receipt of the decision or order of the appellate tribunal. Means from the order or decision of the appellate tribunal, appeal is to be filed, further appeal is to be filed before the High Court within 60 days from the date of receipt of copy of the decision or order. However, that appeal can be considered by the High Court even after 60 days on sufficient grounds. That High Court, if the grounds are proved in the High Court, then High Court can give extension, means delay is condoned, and the appeal can be admitted. Further, no appeal shall lie with the consent of the parties. Means consent appeal is not preferred. Means appeal is required to be filed individually. With the consent of the parties, the appeal cannot be entered and appeal cannot be preferred. Means if any party wants to file appeal, then at his own, that party will have to file appeal, not doing consent with other parties. They can file appeal. Okay. Further, section 64 is that is a penalty for failure to comply with orders of appellate tribunal by promoter. This we have seen earlier also. If penalty for failure to comply with orders of appellate tribunal by promoter, means if promoter fails to comply with the orders of the appellate tribunal, then there is provision of imprisonment up to 3 years or fine for every day, a maximum up to 10% of the cost of the real estate project or both. And section 60 provides for penalty for failure to comply with orders of appellate tribunal by the real estate agent. If the real estate agent fails to comply with the order of the appellate tribunal, then there is a provision of imprisonment up to 1 year or fine for every day, maximum up to 10% of the estimated cost of plot or apartment or building for which the sale purchase has been facilitated or both. So these are the provisions if the promoter or the real estate agent fails to comply with the orders of the appellate tribunal. For allottee also there is a provision for imprisonment up to 1 year and penalty up to 5 years of the estimated cost of the plot, apartment or building which he has purchased in that real estate project. Okay. So this was about the Maharashtra's the Real Estate Appellate Tribunal under the RERA Act 2016. So further provision, that is penalty for failure to comply with orders of the appellate tribunal by the allottee, that is under section 68, that is penalty for failure to comply with orders of appellate tribunal by allottee, that is imprisonment up to 1 year or fine per day up to 10% of the cost of plot or apartment or building which he has purchased in the real estate project or both. So there are provisions under section 64, section 66 and 68 when there is a violation by either the promoter or the real estate agent or the allottee of the order of the appellate tribunal. So these were the provisions under the RERA about the appellate tribunal under the RERA. Now, in the RERA 2016, there is a provision for Central Advisory Council at all India level. Since this act has been enacted by the central government, the central government has made provision of the Central Advisory Council at all India level. Section 41 provides for establishment of a Central Advisory Council. This Central Advisory Council is to be appointed or established by the central government and the minister to the government of India who is in charge of the ministry of the central government dealing with housing shall be the ex officio chairperson of the council. Means the central government minister who is dealing with housing shall be the ex officio chairperson of the Central Advisory Council. Further, there will be on the council there will be representatives of the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice, Niti Aayog, National Housing Bank, Housing and Urban Development Corporation, and 5 representatives of state governments to be selected by rotation. 5 representatives of the real estate regulatory authorities to be selected by rotation, and any other central government department as notified. So the composition who will be there on this Central Advisory Council. Further, the Central Advisory Council shall also consist of not more than 10 members to represent the interest of real estate industry, consumers, real estate agents, construction laborers, non-governmental organizations, and academic and research bodies in the real estate sector. So this is the composition of the Central Advisory Council. Section 42 provides for functions of Central Advisory Councils. What are the functions to be carried out by the Central Advisory Council? That is, to advise and recommend the central government on all matters concerning the implementation of this act, that is the implementation of the RERA, on major questions of policy towards protecting of consumer interests, to foster the growth and development of the real estate sector, on any other matters as may be assigned to it by the central government. Means the role of the Central Advisory Council is advisory role only. The Central Advisory Council has to advise and recommend the central government on these matters. Further, the central government may specify the rules to give effect to the recommendations of the Central Advisory Council on matters as provided under this section. See, it means central government can specify the rules to give effect to the recommendations of the Central Advisory Council. So this was about the Central Advisory Council which is provided under the Real Estate Regulation Act 2016. Now further under RERA 2016, there is a provision under section 79 that is about bar of jurisdiction. This is important provision. That this provision tells that no civil court shall have jurisdiction to entertain any suit or proceeding under this act. Means the matters pertaining coming under the purview of this act, now they cannot be entertained by any civil court. Means any civil court shall not have any jurisdiction to entertain any suit or proceeding which comes under purview of the RERA. That is made clear under section 79, that is called as bar of jurisdiction. Means no other civil court has jurisdiction to entertain the matters pertaining to this act. Further, section 80, that is about cognizance of offence. That is, no court shall take cognizance of any offence punishable under this act or the rules or regulations, save on the complaint in writing made by the authority or by any officer of the authority duly authorized by it for this purpose. Means for offence punishable under this act, unless there is a complaint in writing by the authority or any other person, officer of the authority, duly authorized by the authority, any other person, no court shall take cognizance of any offence punishable under this act or rules or regulations. Means directly any party cannot approach to any court to take cognizance of any offence punishable under this act or rules or the regulations. Means the court can take cognizance of any offence punishable under this act, rules and regulations only on complaint in writing made by the authority or any officer authorized by the authority for that purpose. Okay. Further, no court inferior to that of metropolitan magistrate or a judicial magistrate. Means in metropolitan cities, Mumbai, like Mumbai, in Maharashtra, Mumbai, Metropolitan Magistrate, and in other areas, Judicial Magistrate of first class shall try an offence punishable under this act. Because the punishment of imprisonment, etc., that is to be awarded by the magistrate, and for that purpose, no court inferior to that of Metropolitan Magistrate or a Judicial Magistrate of the first class shall try any offence punishable under this act. Okay, but to try to take cognizance, there has to be complaint either by the authority or any officer of the authority duly authorized for it by the authority for that purpose. So these are some important other provisions under the RERA which we must have knowledge about. Okay, so this was about the RERA Act, Real Estate Regulation Act 2016. Substantial portion of the act which we as the practitioners and common public they are interested in, that I have completed in this part of my lecture which I have delivered throughout. So this my lecture will help you to understand the RERA Act along with relevant provisions in rules, regulations, etc. And I think all will appreciate my effort to deliver this which the lecture I have delivered to you. Thank you very much for listening this entire lecture on the RERA. Thank you very much.